Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Central Voting Bureau, thank you for joining us today, and a pleasant good afternoon to all gathered here in the Legislative Hall at the House of Parliament and those joining us virtually through various platforms. As we approach the final days before the parliamentary election on Monday, August 19th, I want to take this opportunity to share some important updates and reminders with the public. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of all those involved in preparing for this election. Today, I have here with me representatives from the Civil Registry, GEBE, and KPSM. The efforts put in by all those here today often go unseen, but play a fundamental role in ensuring that everything runs smoothly. From the polling station members to the teams working behind the scenes, your commitment to upholding the democratic process is truly commendable, and I want to thank each of you for your efforts. I want to reiterate once again that the Central Voting Bureau remains committed to upholding the integrity and efficiency of these elections. We have validated the list of 9 political parties with a total of 135 candidates aspiring for a position to represent you, the people of St. Martin, in Parliament. In preparation for the upcoming elections, we've taken steps to ensure that the process is as seamless and transparent as possible. We've introduced several new measures this election cycle to improve both the voting and the vote counting processes. Firstly, we're piloting new software designed to streamline the logging of election day data, ensuring your votes are counted accurately and efficiently. In addition to this, we've increased the number of polling station members. There will be an additional 2 members joining the polling station later in the day to assist both with the flow of voters as well as the crucial counting process after 8 p.m. In addition, we've engaged a new data analyst to assist with the consolidation of the election results as they come in. Taken together, we're hopeful that these enhancements will allow us to deliver preliminary results to the public earlier than we did in the previous election. We're also aware of the challenges posed by the current power situation, and I'm happy to announce that we have successfully secured emergency generators for all polling stations that were not previously equipped. To ensure full redundancy, we'll also have emergency lights and other equipment available to sufficiently illuminate the rooms in case of darkness. These steps are part of our commitment to ensuring that the voting and counting process is not disrupted, even under challenging conditions. Mr. Washington is also here today and can address the public more specifically with what to expect from NVGBE on Monday, and I'll let him have some remarks in a bit. In addition to these efforts, our preparations for the election encompass a wide range of activities to ensure a smooth and trustworthy voting experience when the polls open. In summary, every aspect of the election, from the ballots to the polling stations and the training of staff, is being carefully managed to ensure that we are fully prepared. Our goal is to provide a seamless and transparent voting process. Our goal is to inspire confidence in our democratic system, and we are committed to ensuring that every eligible voter can cast their vote with trust in the integrity and efficiency of the electoral process. Now, I want to take a moment to address the voters directly. We understand that many of you may feel frustrated by the need to return to the polls within a 6-month time span. Trust me, as citizens and an eligible voter myself, I'm right there with you. However, this is an opportunity to make your voices heard. Your vote is your voice, and it is through this process that you can help shape the future of your community. We must also remember that the right to vote is a privilege that many before us fought for and fought hard to secure. It's a right that we should never take for granted. Every vote contributes to the direction we take as a society, and your participation is crucial in maintaining the integrity and the strength of our democratic system. So I urge each of you to channel your concerns and your frustration into action by casting your vote, by voting for the leaders that you believe in and that you think best represent you. It's important to remember that the integrity of this election relies on the participation of all eligible voters. Polling stations will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we encourage you to check your polling station location in advance to avoid any last-minute confusion on the day itself. Finally, I want to emphasize the importance of civility and respect during this final stretch of the campaign and on election day itself. This election is an opportunity for all of us to come together as a community, regardless of our differences, to shape the future of our country. Let's ensure that this process is conducted with the dignity and integrity that it deserves. I would like to now give the floor for the representatives of the Civil Registry, GBE, and KPSM to share any remarks that you may have. After their statements, we'll open the floor to questions from the media present. Thank you again for your attention, and we look forward to a successful and smooth election on Monday.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. On GB's perspective, we are doing our utmost in order to prevent load shedding on August 19th. We are testing right now an additional engine, which is engine number 8. We have been running it yesterday and today to see if the test results are where we want them to be. Once this engine shows it's positive, we would then put it onto the grid tomorrow. And once it goes onto the grid, there will be an additional 4 megawatts will be coming onto the grid. So in addition to the containerized engines that are currently has an output of 10 megawatts, they would have an additional 4 megawatts, which will be adding 14 megawatts in total in addition to the grid. So we are doing our utmost in order to see how we can isolate the areas of the polling station in the event of load shedding to prevent any outages by the polling stations. However, if that do occur, we have assisted the Electoral Council with floodlights in order to make sure that there are lighting in the event of any darkness. On GB side, that is it for now. Thank you, and I'll wait any questions.
Good afternoon, media and citizens of St. Martin. Civil Registry has done all preparation as possible to ensure a smooth operation, as the chair lady of Central Voting Bureau just mentioned. We have sent all the voting cards. We have a few back from the postal services, and today is our last working day for collecting voting cards. So I'm asking everyone that did not receive the voting cards to come today. However, on August 19, Monday, we will be open for those that last minute, and I'm saying last minute, so try to arrange that today, and if not possible, we were still there for you on Monday, August 19th. We will be available or open from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. You can collect your voting cards, and in case that you have lost your ID card and you don't have any other valid documents, such as a national driver's license or a valid passport, you can still renew your ID card on Monday, 19th of August at the Civil Registry Department. Also, I would like to inform that Belvedere Community Center is the largest polling station, whereby we have exceeded the 1,500, and we had to change one street from the polling station of Belvedere Community Center to the help desk in Dutch Quarter. So as the chair lady just said, please check your location of voting. So to be sure that even if you come late at the polling station, I mean late just before 8, you can still cast your vote, because if you have to drive to another polling station, you might have problems by reaching after 8. So please check your voting cards before leaving your house. Don't forget to take a valid identification and your voting card to the polling station on Monday, August 19. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. To start with, I must say that KPSM is now fully available and manned to be able to have a safe election day. We want to, though, ask the cooperation of the community for a few things. In the past, we have noticed that at the entrances of the polling stations, people cannot move freely to go cast their votes. And we would like to ask for the cooperation this year that everyone maintain themselves behind the barricades that will be placed at each polling station. Each polling station will be manned with 2 or 3 officers, depending on where it is, and they will be acting on instructions of the voorzitter of the Stem Bureau. So they will make sure guide you as instructed, and please follow instructions. Outside of the polling stations, we will have different teams who will be there to maintain public order and safety. Later on in the evening, on the election day, we will also have our heightened normal controls that you can see carried out the last few days. Those will be ongoing on election day also. So we are fully ready, and we can guarantee safe election day.
All right, I think that concludes our initial remarks here, and I'll give the floor over to anyone from the media that would like to ask any questions to anybody seated here. Mr. Cerulean, I think you have to turn your mic on.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Chair Lady, you spoke of mechanism being put in place to ensure a smooth running of the elections. You spoke of the software that will be implemented. Can you tell us as to whether or not those softwares you spoke of have been, if those have been at least tested?
Yes, so as I said, we're piloting the software. I think Kathy can also give a little bit of insight on that too, but what we're doing is we're kind of using this election also as a dry run to try to professionalize and the election moving forward too. That will make it easier and easier for us to compile election data and results as they come in. You know, now a lot of things happen. One, it's all manual work, and then numbers are called in. Somebody listens to that, gets that in on the phone, they write it down, that goes to a data analyst. That person then again has to input numbers. So you're going through multiple steps in the process. So we're looking at how can we automate systems and tie them together where it's just one person inputting data and another person pulling that out. But of course, because this is the first time that we're testing this software, we're running it in tandem with the regular manual way of doing things to be able to double check and cross-reference. We don't want to be completely reliant on a new software that indeed we are testing now for the first time. So this is why I mentioned it kind of as a way that we're looking to professionalize and kind of move forward and modernize the way that we get election results. But this is the first time that we're testing it. So so that's why in that sense we mentioned it's a pilot, and we're going to see and compare the accuracy of the numbers, you know, because we're getting it through different streams. So that's what we're looking at right now. I don't know if there was anything you wanted to add.
I can mention that this software system has been used within the kingdom already. So other islands has been using this during elections. So we have confidence in the software itself. Only we have to have a stable internet, and that's why also Ms. Declan mentioned that we are keeping both systems right now until we have more stability in the future.
Is there a time frame, though, that you're looking at to at least be able to say, hey, compared to the last elections, we are able to conclude and present the preliminary report of the results?
There's not a number that we can give directly. You know, I think that differs per election. You never know what can happen in a polling station, you know, why there may be delays, yes or no. That also depends on how quickly those polling station members are able to sort and count and go through, especially in the bigger polling stations. We see that takes a significant amount of time. I think what we also noticed in the previous election, and that's a discussion we'll have with the parties too, when it comes to election observers, sometimes they also make it that the process is delayed. You know, if you are questioning every single step that's taken within that polling station when it comes to the counting, you are delaying the process. You know, so I think we all have a role to play in how quickly those results come in. And you know, at the same time too, we don't want to push polling station members to do quick work. I want accurate work. You know, so it's not, oh, go fast, fast, fast and see who finishes the fastest. We need to have accurate election results that we can trust and rely on. So in that sense, you know, you don't want them to make those mistakes when they're trying to rush and do something, and you want them to do careful work. So my hope is that when I drive home on Tuesday morning is not light out, and because that's what it was the previous election. I think I left here at 6:30, almost 7 o'clock in the morning. So we're hoping at least that it's in the earlier hours of the night, and or let me say the morning, and not that late into 4 morning kind of things. So I don't want to make any promises to the public, because again, those are things that are out of my control. I'm reliant of the work of the polling station members and my data analyst, and you know, we can't do much more than that. So I don't want to put too much pressure on other people, but I know that they'll do their work well and to the best of their ability.
I'm happy you made mention of election observers. Was there any request for such persons to be here?
No, for this election, we will not have any international observers. So the observers that I mentioned are of course, the observers of the political parties. Political parties often want to have, you know, some of their own people come and observe the counting process, and that's also what they use when they come on Monday the 26th, which is when we will have the validation of the results, or any objections that are made with respect to for the preliminary result. That will be on Monday the 26th. So parties use, of course, things that they have observed during the evening to lodge those complaints with the Central Voting Bureau.
Ms. Schneiders, approximately how many police stations do we have, and can you give us an idea as to where they are located?
So we have 20 polling stations. The two smallest polling stations are the prison, Huis van Bewaring, and St. Martin Home. I will give a summary for you. We have polling station 1, John Larmony Center, that is Long Wall Road 20, or in Dutch, Lange Muurweg 20. And number 2 is Sundial School. Oh, I didn't give the amount by number 1, sorry. I have the wrong. So we have by John Larmony Center 935 eligible voters. By Sundial School we have 1,396. By St. Martin Senior Recreation Center, Hope Estate, we have 1,446. By Sister Marie Laurent School, Ellis Drive 1, that's Middle Region, we have 1,443. Number 5, Dutch Quarter Community Center, Zorg en Rust, 1,434. Number 6, Milton Peters College, MPC, that's LB Scott Road, 1,435. Number 7, Rupert Meinert Community Center, St. Peters Road, 1,425. Number 8, St. Martin Academy, Copper Drive, number 3, 1,405. Butte Hotel, number 9, is 80 Ellich Road, number 2, 1,463. 10, NIPA, that is 1,427, that's Cahill. Number 11, Charles Leopold Bell School, that's Union Road, 1,288. Leonard Connor School in KB, that's 815. Simpson Bay Sport Community Center, 1,117. Belvedere Community Center, 1,475. And they were 1,502 and we remove Bishop Hill Road and add it to number 17. Yes? 15, Melford Hazel Sport and Recreational Center, that's Waldiga Road, 1,438. Then we have 16, Mac in St. John, 1,248. 17 is Dutch Quarter Community Help Desk, is 507. Number 18, Seventh-day Adventist School, that is in Coal Bay, 918. Then Huis van Bewaring, the prison, we have 65. And number 20, St. Martin Home, we have 67. And as we are speaking, the court is busy with decisions to add persons to the voting registry. Also, we have persons that passed away. We are removing from the voting registry. So Monday morning, we will have a small difference in our amount of voters. So we will deduct all the persons that passed away, and we will add all the ones that the courts made decision to add to this registry. Also, I must inform that we had about 80 persons that naturalized last beginning of August, and those are persons mostly that can request the court to add them to the voting registry. And as we're speaking now, we are busy with court cases, and Monday as well, we are in court for court's decisions. Thank you.
I think I'll just add a little bit onto what Kathy just mentioned. Because I think what we noticed in the previous election, there was a lot of to-do about the numbers in the prison, and I think this is an excellent explanation of why you see those changes. I think off the top of my head, the previous election, when you had seen the closure of the voting registry, the prison showed that there were 27 eligible voters, and then on election day, you see that there's 40 people that voted in the prison, and you see that that number actually went up, so because you get, of course, that, as she just mentioned, the court moves people around. If somebody gets arrested, their address changes from where they were residents before, and then they move to Point Blanche, and in that sense, then they also have to move from that polling station. So, on Monday, we're going to try to update those numbers throughout the day on Monday, but it could be that you see a number that exceeds another one, or you see things that you're kind of like, hey, this doesn't look right, and, don't, I would tell the public, don't worry too much. There's not that something really crazy is going on, but these are the explanations for that, and we will, of course, communicate that in a timely manner, or as we have the information. During the day, we'll, because up to Monday throughout the day, we will be processing those changes, because we're actually awaiting decisions from the court that we'll get on Monday. So it's a very, it's moving around a lot, let me put it that way.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. Marisa Hakmat, Energia TV Bonaire. I know there are provisions made for a person standing outside of the voting, the urnas, they say in Pavimento, at the polling stations. Are there other provisions made for after voting? Maybe it was mentioned while I was on my way here, but is there a curfew, the selling of alcoholic beverages, etc.? Was that also mentioned that after the voting, once you cast your vote and you go home, or you can hang around at a bar, etc., etc.? Thank you.
Right now, I think with respect to, I know that there was some talk about a ban on a prohibition on the sale of alcohol on election day. However, to my knowledge at present, I have not seen any published prohibition. So it could be that this happens prior to Monday, but at this point, I wouldn't be able to speak with certainty because I haven't seen anything legally prohibiting that, or perhaps I'm looking at the chief. So where that's concerned, no, but I know that we did have it in the previous election. There was one that came out on I think even on election day. So at this point, I see a nod over here. So it'll maybe be in place by Monday, but I know that it was mentioned. However, nothing was published as yet.
Ms. Snyders, approximately how many voting cards were returned to the police up to the post office?
1,223 was returned on the 9th of August, and Monday, we received 203 that was placed in the PO boxes. They removed them and they brought them back to us. So, again, the PO boxes were used as post office has a customary with their clients that they will put for those that has PO box, and most of them, I believe, was not collected. So those they delivered on Monday. That was 203 additional. And we have more than that amount of persons coming to collect the voting cards these days. So again, I want to emphasize on make use of our opening today to collect all the voting cards that was not delivered or that maybe, I can also inform that a lot of persons ask for duplicate because of the weather condition and their voting cards was outside. Now, our situation on the island that not everyone has a box. So some of them got damaged because of the rain, and when they tried to open the envelope, it was sticking on top of the information, so they are coming by us to collect their voting cards.
I have a question for the Chief of Police. Chief, we know that law enforcement were requested to at least be here from the ABC Islands to be able to assist during the period and after the elections. Approximately how many officers have arrived, and who will they be working directly under? Who will be supervising those officers?
Thank you, Stephen. 25 officers from the 3 islands will be assisting us for election, and they fall directly under the mandate of the Chief of Police. Next to that, there will be 40 Marines flown in, next to the 16 that are stationed in St. Martin. And naturally, like every other big event, we are also supported by the VCAS.
I wanted to come back to the question about because apparently there is, so I wanted to clarify that. So there was something published on July 31st, actually. So then I think also good for the public to know that in this case, it's a prohibition on the sale of alcohol from Sunday, August 18th, starting at 6 p.m. until 6 in the morning on Tuesday, the 20th of August. So then it is prohibited for stores or anyone to sell alcoholic beverages or provide them to anybody. And then, of course, there are exceptions for hotels and for the airport.
Thank you.
My final question is for Mr. Washington. GB and being able to keep on the power during the elections. You made mention that provision has been put in place to ensure that the polling stations are well lit up during the period. But what about your capacity to be able to keep electricity on throughout the island during elections on the day in question?
Thank you for that question, Cyril. We expect that we will be having a higher supply for our demand. Right now, we are experiencing this surge around our cool water engines, which is affecting engines 7, 14, and 15. Even though those engines are running at a reduced capacity, we are load shedding less cables at this moment because of the testing of engine 8 and the containerized engines. So for us to get a better understanding of exactly where we are with our supply, once the surge comes down, that we can use our seawater cooling engines at full capacity, we'll be able to judge our supply versus the demand a lot better. So I would say by Sunday, we'd have a better idea of if we're going to be doing extreme load shedding or just one cable at a time, or maybe no cables at all. But in the event of any type of load shedding, we have discussed with the Electoral Council that we would keep the polling stations at the best of our ability out of the load shedding schedule. Thank you.
Then I see that there are no further questions from the media. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to a safe, peaceful, and successful election on Monday, August 19th. Thank you very much.